Well, I'm sitting in my comfortable chair behind the camera, not looking through the camera, but I'm going to just maybe explain my thinking here a little bit. Rory, you had left a very applicable comment talking about the possibility of bringing in some rocky structure that would, in part, I think, add some interest to the foreground because it's another element of design, and also that would support, like it would aim sort of towards the building itself, putting some rock in here. Up until about halfway through, sorry, I'm going to flip the screen here because I can't see if I'm even on screen right now. There we go. Up until about halfway through the painting, I had still thought that maybe I would introduce some bedrock poking through the ground. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. I love striation and strata. You know, I love rock. I just do love painting it, and I've done it hundreds of times. Well, actually, probably well over 1,000, maybe thousands. I don't know. Anyway, in this case, I just kind of thought, no, I'm going to leave the bedrock alone. I'm going to try to just work with matted grass, just ground cover, foliage. And that's kind of why I've come to the point that I've come so far in this. Regardless of what I do, it's not identifying the items that I have in the foreground. It's going to be about the shapes that I have in the foreground. This needs to be a little more sophisticated, but it needs to be stronger. I also know that this all looks so washed in, all this, you know, yellow to purples to mauves. I need some stronger lines in there. I think I'm just going to manage that with the subject matter that I have here. But I'm not discounting the possibility of poking some bedrock in. I'll never discount that because yeah, it's a very good device. It's a very handy device. It's very plausible. But last time, as I said, I decided to just leave this for the time being. Some of the work I may have to do down here, or I will have to do down here, what will help me determine how I finish this area will be by laying in some sky. This I know what to do with. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but I know how I'm going to approach it. When I painted the sky in to begin with, it wasn't just a wash in. I did actually paint the sky in, but it was an iteration, the first iteration of the sky. So I'll be revisiting that now, and maybe I should just zero in a little bit on a spot or two. Sorry, I'm going to flip my viewfinder around, which means you can hear some clicking. Oh, how smooth and gentle, eh? I should be a professional cameraman. Alright. I really liked the idea of some darker cloud arcing in a little bit here. By the time I have everything else in place, or most of it, this started to look very dirty and disorganized. Especially down here. The low values against these low value hills, and the fact that I did not put sharp lines in, it became very weak. So I've gone in, I've taken some other colors from the sky, and I've lightened it. That's really ultramarine blue and raw umber and white. And I've cleaned up around these hills, around this post, around the edge of the roof here. I'm going to continue, but to a point. I think I'm going to try to maintain a bit of this arc going in. But it needs to be a clearer shape. Everything on the painting is very vivid, so I can't just smear things in behind it, or put it this way, I'm not comfortable with it. I would like to, although the sky will be looser, I would like to maintain this technique of of fairly vivid, fairly clear shapes, fairly strong shapes in places. So all I've done is clean this up. I like it a lot better, big improvement, small area, but big improvement. Okay, I guess that's showing enough. No, I'll back up a little bit. I'll back the painting out, or back the camera out a little bit. Okay, actually, let me zero back in, because we're going to ignore the sky now. Or we're going to ignore the foreground now. Okay. Looking through the camera, I see that this is almost blinding white. That is not the case. What you see and what I see are very different. What you see and what the final iteration of the painting will be is not accurate through the camera. Believe me, that's a very big difference. I think what I'd like to do is, I remember earlier I said, you know, we had this shaft of gray going across here. Very strong, very strong. And the sky seemed to be very flat and seemed almost to tilt towards you as it came forward because of these clouds, which of course are more overhead than the distant ones. I think that I would like to remove some of this gray and allow the eye to flow off the painting. I'd like to bring more of this light into here. I'd like to have a little more light here. I would kind of like to maybe hint more light down here as well. I'd like to depending on how you view it, I'd like to come down from either side, focus here, and then spread out again. But mostly head straight down. So it's kind of like this, a little bit like fireworks, you know? Coming from the bottom, you see this, and then you see that, and you move away, and the eye gets released with the burst of light on top. Maybe I'm getting a little too silly or a little too poetic, but it's kind of if you really blurred your eyes, almost to the point of blindness, I would like it to be something like this. Yes, I like the backward C, but that was the start because it needs a balance from the right-hand side. It's already better because of the clarification of line here. I'm going to leave this as much as I can because I quite like the way this area turned out. But what I'm not fond of is that this goes off this corner, right? And this goes off this corner. I think what I will likely do, because the stronger light or the more interesting light will be in this area above the shed, I'm going to probably fade it off a little bit more so we don't have that strength going right off the corner. Too much symmetry going on there. Don't like that. There has to be suggested symmetry, but not literal symmetry. Okay, so I'm going to keep playing with the sky in different areas. I like what's going on with it. I wouldn't want a dead sky on top of all this. There's too much movement everywhere. One of you guys had talked about Ed Bell's work, and I recognized the name, but I didn't remember. No, I recognized the work. I recognized his work, but not the name immediately. So then, of course, I went and looked it up. It was like, oh yeah, of course, I have images of that stuff. I love it. You know, it's sort of simplified, but nuanced as well. It's actually much more difficult to produce work like that than it appears. I love that feeling. I'm not trying to copy it. You know, my stuff is very different, but I quite like that feel, that idea, the simplicity, but strength. So, probably going to take these lighter colors. I would like some continuum here. I like the break through it, but I don't want that break right there. Or not a strong break anyway. I think I'd like to bring it down, dip it, and then head back up a little bit, and then let it fade off just like it's doing right now. Probably, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but probably I'm going to take some stronger blues, remove this dip of gray, you know, that sort of overhead-ish cloud, remove it, and put more blues in there, a little bit of cobalt, a little bit of ultramarine, might lean purple with a little bit of Alizarin Crimson might lean in the direction of yeah, ultramarine and just a hint of burnt sienna and white, you know? To take the high chroma out of it, I don't want too high a chroma up here. You know, if I go really strong colors in the sky, then the whole thing is going to look maybe a little too much cartoonish. You know, I want to be a little bit careful there. Even though the colors in themselves on their own are very attractive. So, you know, we have really, I'm actually generally happy with this sky. I'd like to remove the grays here, allow the eye to go way off into the distant blue, and then we come closer and we catch some closer clouds. But these clouds are still behind this closer grayer area. So we'll play at that, see how it goes. I'm going to, my wife and I are going to an area called Lightning Lakes. What is that? About hour and a half east of us, up in the mountains in Manning Park, British Columbia. There is some wildfire smoke kicking around, so I don't know. I'll take the camera with me. I don't know. Stop it. I'm the worst. I'm just the worst here. I'll take the camera with me. What's so spectacular about that area is the fact that you can see massive mountain peaks in the distance. A lot of glacier and snowpack, and even in the summer. I don't think the visibility will be good enough for us to catch that tomorrow, but we'd still like to very much go for a drive tomorrow. So I'll probably do that. I'll take the camera because you never know. You just never know until you get there. I think that's about it. Don't think I have much more to say about it. Tonight I'm going to play, and the next time you see it, I'm not promising the sky will be done, but I am pretty confident that what I would like to do right now is get the sky finished before I move back down to the foreground. I like the sky, but it does need a little bit of grooming. Some finessing. Okay guys. Happy, what is it, Tuesday? Happy Tuesday. See ya.